Hello, this is my unit for distinction for travel and tourism. And the chosen organization that I've picked is Air Arabia, which is an airline based in the Middle East. The first recommendation that I would suggest for Air Arabia, as I have gone through this, are the headphones that they provide to their customers, as it is very irritating and creates a lot of discomfort to the customers, as the earphones are not very comfortable and not very efficient, and as well they're very irritable to the ears. I would recommend them to buy this cheap headphone on the right of the presentation, as it is very cheap, and they will be able to obtain this and provide it to their customers, so that they will be able to meet the needs of their customers, and they will not have the customers being very discomfortable and as well being irritable. The next recommendation would be visually impaired customers. As you can see on the right, the photo is that in the photo, the customers are not very satisfied, and they're also very irritable and have huge discomfort due to the sun coming from the window, which then would create a very bad experience on the flight. And Air Arabia, being a small airline as well, they do not have any blinds on their airline, as sometimes it would depend on the flight, depending on where you're going. I would suggest, no matter what, they would still provide sleep masks to their customers who have weak eyes, who get very they have a huge impact from the sun, even though it's like little contact. I would still suggest them to provide sleep masks, such as Emirates. Emirates, if you can see on the left of the PowerPoint, provides sleep masks to the customers so that they would not be in any discomfort, and they would be able to have an enjoyable experience on the flight, which then would mean that they would meet their needs of the customers. So I would recommend that Air Arabia would provide these sleep masks to their customers so that they would have an enjoyable experience and meet the needs of their customers. The next recommendation is for family and toddlers. As Air Arabia is a very small airline, they do not provide baby changing rooms and as well baby entertainment. They do not provide food for the baby. As it depends on the flight, sometimes they would provide meals, but not for the baby, or sometimes they would provide peanuts, depending on the flight you have taken. I would still suggest that they would provide baby food, baby changing rooms, as it is a need for families to be able to have the situation cleared. And as well, I would suggest that they would have baby entertainment on the flight, so that the baby would not be restless, and the baby would then be able to have an enjoyable experience on the flight, and as well the family. The next recommendation for Air Arabia, as again they're a small airline, they do not provide all the needs to their customers, as they're still growing in the market. So if you can see on the left of the PowerPoint, this is a Saudi Arabia Airlines. They provide a praying mat on the airplane. As you can see, they provide a praying mat on the airplane for their customers who would need to continue their religious acts. By doing this, they would then be able to meet the needs of their customers, as they're based in the Middle East. Most of the religious groups are from Islam, and by that they would need to keep on track with their praying times, and then by having the praying mat in religious rooms, they would be able to provide to their customers, making them have an enjoyable experience on the flight. My next recommendation would be special assistance. As once again, Air Arabia is a really small airline in the Middle East. They do not provide, they do provide a little bit of these services depending on the time, because on their website they mentioned that you would need to book a wheelchair, which then states that they have very limited amounts, which then would create a very bad customer service and as well a bad representation of Air Arabia, which then would make their customers go to other airlines, which then create a very bad experience with Air Arabia. So I would recommend that they would have the special assistance with having a special guide to make the customer who is physically challenged to go through all the procedures, such as checking out or even checking into their flight, to make it more easier for them and have an enjoyable experience. Thank you very much.